Hi, hello. My name is Kiril. I'm your host, and this is All Robotics Competition. We are again joined by our good friend Will, and Will is one of the founders of US Engineering League, which was established in 2018, and he has been the national organizer for World Robot Olympiad USA since 2020. US Engineering League aims to offer easy to operate STEM based competitions that provide benefit to local communities and organizations. US Engineering League also tries to close the learning gap and increases student engagement in STEM for all children, particularly those in underserviced communities. Hi Will, nice
Hi,
to
how
see you
are you?
again.
Yes.
Last time we did a great recording of World Robot Olympiad 2023, the elementary challenge, and then you mentioned something quite interesting for me that there is some unofficial competition with WeDo, and this I think will be of great interest to our listeners. Take us through it. What's this unofficial WeDo competition?
Yeah, so this is unofficially official competition. It's what they call a friendship starter game. Because in Robo Mission, there's an elementary which is 8 to 12 years old, but some of the countries, some of the students out there, need something a little bit easier to get started with WRO. So they created this starter competition for the 6 to 10-year-old age range. And it's a variation of the elementary mat, which they simplified. And the robot kits that you can use for this one are the Lego WeDo kits, WeDo 2.0, and the Lego Spike Essential Kit. Sorry, Lego Spike Essential Kit. So you
So
can
it's
use,
not it's not only the WeDo, it's also the Spike Essential.
right. So you get a
And
choice of what you want to use for this competition.
And
Um,
Spike Essential, it seems to be like the set between before the Spike Prime. So it's the set that comes before that.
Yeah, it's a simplified version of the Spike Prime. It's a little smaller, only two ports, but yeah, so it's a little bit simpler.
And how are the rules about this competition? Are they any different than the rules for the elementary?
Yeah. There's different rules. In this competition, the teams are allowed to either program the robots autonomously, and you have different starting positions, and you can restart the robot in different starting positions. And you'll see there's some what we call harbor areas where they can start it in, or they can start it manually. They can manually could drive the robots using a remote control that they've either made or used for to program for the robots. So there's a little bit of coordination between the teams. So if they want to start at different spots and once I go through the rules, it'll start making more sense.
And the competition again has a theme. I took a look at the rules about the competition, and it's about moving, about using. Let me check the name. I don't want to get it wrong. I have it right here. So it's about floating markets and the way they were formed, the way they help people living in those areas move, trade. They create different jobs, they create opportunities, they're improving the people's life.
Yeah, and they created this. This is a floating market, and the object of this game is to move fruit from from yeah to move fruit from the boats to the landing areas. Yeah.
Okay, what are the rules? What are the rules? Could you
Yeah.
take us through
So
them?
I'm going to show you using this, so you can see this is. And if you can see my camera, there are four different starting areas. So we have. Sorry, just trying to get coordinated. So that's one starting area. There's four different harbors. So we have one. You have a second one that looks like a pier on the opposite side. We also have a pier as well, and another harbor. So those are all four different starts. So you can start your robot in any one of the four starting areas. Um, we have different objects that need to be moved. We have what's interesting is there's these balls that sit on top of objects. We have one object in each corner. We have this here. They're actually the balls represent fruit. There's two blue ones and two red ones. So there's a blue and a red there, and a blue and a red there. But if you notice, each structure is different, right? This one has a collapsible arm, which could drop the fruit, right? I don't know if you saw that, right?
Yes, yes, it was
This
right on
one,
camera.
this one just has it's a little bit of a higher perch. That one has a loop in the way to grab it, and that one's just a standard, shorter type of. That one over there is a little shorter. So the children need to figure out how to move these fruits, basically these balls, to a corresponding boat, and to place it on top of the fruit basket. Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
And isn't this too difficult for this age?
It is difficult. Now, there's two challenges here. One, the fruit, there's a red and a blue that are going to be randomized. You don't know where the starting position for the blue and the reds are going to be, so there could be any positions. And the second part is bringing it to here and placing it on the fruit basket. Now, it's pretty difficult to do that. What the rules say, though, to help the teams is, as long as you drop it in the blue area, the team member can grab it and put it on top of the fruit basket.
Oh,
So at least so for a 6-year-old, that's not bad. So there's those four different drop fruits that you need to bring to the 4 different boats. So there's 2 blue, 2 red, and then there's these green objects here, which are called specialty and agricultural products. Okay, and you need to move those to one of the harbor areas. So these are on the islands, and you just need to move it to a harbor area. Okay, so either one of the 4 harbor areas, and there's 2 of those. There's two agricultural products that you can move to any one of the harbor areas. Okay. For that.
So we
Yeah.
need a robot, and this is a robot that comes with the Spike Essential kit, and we need to build the robot, and it needs to take the bows from these objects and to bring them to the boats.
Yes.
And then by hand we can place them on top of the boxes that are in the boats. And then we have also this. What was the name of the green objects?
Specialty and agricultural products.
Specialty in agricultural products, and we need to bring them to a special area on the field.
Yes.
Interesting. And we again have 2 minutes for this.
They do have 2 minutes. There's one other task that they need to do is park in the middle. So in the end, they have to park in the middle to get more to finish the missions.
Do you think that students will be able to accomplish this with the sets that they have? Because I know there's some limitations, like you mentioned, 2 ports for the brick.
It's a little complicated. We are in the U.S. trying to figure out maybe some rules which we allow. In the rules, it says you're only allowed to use the parts from the kits, but we're noticing that there's not enough ports. So if you want to turn, a lot of teams need 2 motors to turn, and there's only 2 ports, and then they want to have a grabbing mechanism as well, so they need a 3rd port. So what some teams are doing, they're actually using 2 Lego Essential kits. So you have 2 brains, and so if you have 2 team members, one is coordinating the driving, and the other one's coordinating the claw. So you have 2 different brains doing, with 2 different programs. One program for the claw, and one program for the drivetrain. Does that make sense? So,
this is allowed by the rules.
It is allowed by the rules. You can have multiple controllers, but it gets expensive, right? These kits are not cheap.
You can have multiple controllers, and the tricky part is how do you accomplish the competition with a single controller?
Yeah, that is right now a challenge. I know this is kind of a developmental game that they're doing, so probably we'll give some feedback on that. But it's a great game for a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, a starter to do this, because it really, the missions are fairly simple to try to grab one of the fruits, right? It's a little challenging but simple, right? You got to grab one of these balls. You know, how do you grab a ball, right? How do you capture it and bring it to, one of the drop areas? How do you do that? So that's part of the design of your robot. Um, and there's different heights and different objectives, different challenges for each ball to grab. So it's a nice challenge. Um, what they've eliminated was the heavy intensive programming that's needed for this type of mission or this type of game. This is more of a simple programming, and even using manual control, you don't need to program too much with manual control.
Interesting. And this is a competition that's formed for the first time, right?
Yeah, it's intended for starters, for first timers. So we're gonna get some feedback from this game. The developers have developed this game. I'm not sure who developed it, but they're offering it as an international opportunity in Denmark for teams to go to. So in your countries, you can qualify teams or select teams to go to Denmark and compete against other international teams in Denmark, which I think Denmark is in September 21st.
So
So
does this mean that if local organizers of World Robot Olympiad throughout the world want to organize this competition, they wouldn't have a chance?
yeah, no, they do. So
They
they
do.
do have,
They can.
yeah. So we are organizing it here.
Uh-huh.
We're going to try to select some USA teams to go to Denmark, and other countries are doing the same. So in Denmark, there's going to be, a whole bunch of starter teams going to Denmark, which is going to be a fun, friendly invitational. Denmark is not our international final this year. It's a friendly invitational. They are not doing this category at the international final in Panama in November. They are not doing this, but they're doing it as part of the international friendly in Denmark in September.
I remember that you mentioned that the finals for World Robot Olympiad will be in Panama this year, and they were all about marine life and preservation of marine life, and we talk about the corals and the boats. And
Yes.
yes, it's interesting to also see this easier field for the younger students, 6, 7, 8 years old, that could join with a controller that's probably easier, and it's again quite fun to get all the balls to place them there. Challenging.
Yeah.
Is there something that we can advise them to? Some strategy, something that they should look at, approach it?
Yeah, I mean, it really is, how do you design your robot to capture the fruits, the balls, and to push the agricultural, right? So it's really, you need to come up with a design for your robot. You know, I guess it's allowed for teams to swap attachments. So if they maybe want to swap attachments within, it's FLL like, I guess within the harbor areas, you can swap attachments. I think that's within the rules. There's some strategies to think about. How do we have a robot to handle the different capture challenges for each fruit? That's the most challenging, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun for these kids to do.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the solutions that come up both from the competition in the United States and in Denmark, and it will be easier and really funny to see all of these small students through the live streams trying to accomplish all these missions. And I could only imagine the joy in them when they manage to get many of the points.
Yes, they're very small and very cute kids that do this.
Is
So
your is your
very
team
excited.
participating here in this competition?
My teams?
Yes,
Yeah, I will have some teams. Yes,
you have some
I
teams.
have a couple teams, and I may have a few more. We do have interest, right? In the U.S. and I'm sure around the world, there are teams, parents and schools looking to have early age participants in competitions that are doing, robotics. So a 6-year-old now can do a competition, whereas before they didn't have a competition like this to do this here in the U.S. This is a mission-based competition. There are other competitions like FLL Junior, but that's more of a presentation competition, not actually doing a mission. So.
Okay, thanks for this, Will. It's again a pleasure to talk with you, and I think we learned a lot, especially for this new development in World Robot Olympiad and this new competition for 6 to 10 years old. And I hope that by the end of the year, we'll be able to see what are the results.
Yes.
Thanks. See you.
All
It's
right,
been
see you.
great.
Bye.